now and talk about the strike situation, because the UK is bracing for another rail strike as RMT members of 14 train operating firms take part in the first wave of 4 24-hour strikes. Well, commuters across England are expected to get affected by, well, most of it really. The latest strikes does not involve the RMT members of the Network Rail though, which means train services for Wales, Scotland are not going to be affected by this one. Now, earlier, rail members called off a planned strike after talks on pay offers resumed. Across the UK, disruption from the national rail strikes is expected to roll as early as on Friday, with the next strikes planned for March the 30th and April 1st. Well, earlier, thousands of junior doctors this week across England, they staged industrial action. 40% of the medical workforce is asking for a pay rise, a hike of about 35%. According to their union, junior doctors have experienced a reduction in their wages by about 26% since 2008. But according to the Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, the demands are completely unaffordable. Well, in recent months, several workers from various sectors in the UK have staged strikes over pay and conditions. Well, for more, our correspondent Alex Isaac is joining us here in London to tell us more about these expected strikes today. Alex, we're always talking about strikes, aren't we? So let's talk about the one that we're expecting today. How is the disruption? How's it looking on the ground there? And how are passengers going to react, do you think, to another strike?
Well, the RMT, yeah, as you say, is striking today. They have the picket lines, and some of the trains are on a reduced schedule, but most of the lines are suspended at the moment. Now, we were thinking that the RMT was actually going to call off this particular strike and the strike on Saturday, because they did have two offers put on the table that they went to their members, and there was suggestions that this could finally be resolved. However, from what I'm hearing this morning from the union is that there was too many conditions attached to these offers, and they want an unconditional pay offer that they will consider, and until that comes on the table they won't even look at it, which is interesting for their members, because I've spoken to some of their actual train drivers themselves, and they do want to get back to work. They are a bit fed up of this constant striking and being seen as the bad guys. Also, people since COVID are more likely to be working from home, so actually a lot of the majority of people, this isn't really affecting them on a day-to-day basis. Who it is affecting is those vulnerable, low-paid workers who really do need to get to work, and they have no other way of getting there. So they've been queuing for buses, they've been trying to get car sharing if they can, in any way that they can do. So these are the people that are really being affected, and I think that the rest of the UK are also getting a little bit stressed about this whole situation. Why is this continuing so long? If there is an offer on the table, what is it? And what are those conditions? So far, we do understand that some of the conditions involve longer hours, zero contracts, and working overtime. And those are things that the RMT says that they don't want. But this is the modern times. This is 21st century. It is the case that most jobs do have these conditions attached as well. So a lot of people are saying, well, hang on a minute, I'm not getting paid more and I'm still having to do these conditions, but aren't available to go on strike. Of course, we have another strike coming on Saturday, and then we have that other strike that you mentioned in March, which will be start of the Easter holidays, which will put a lot more pressure on people with young families who want to maybe go to see their other family, or go on holiday, or just to get away. So I think there's a lot of people that are a bit fatigued by this situation. And of course, the juniors doctors strike, we have the teachers strike as well, but there is some slightly potential good news incoming. I have understood today that the RCN, the Royal College of Nursing, is actually speaking to the government, and they are looking to potentially go ahead with a pay rise there, but only a small one, and therefore they may not strike again. But of course, it's all up in the air, because it really depends on the unions and the government working together moving forward.
Alex Isaac, thank you so much indeed, reporting from London for us. We will be checking in with you throughout the day for updates.